it's nice to get relief from that drive to get relief. Yes. Yeah, that's spiritual practices can be very demanding in a way. They're not, but we make them that way. And who knew their real value was to fail? Yes. So that you'd be left with your own devices finally, and maybe see they're not yours. Yeah. But while you're using them, it's difficult to see they're not yours when you're busily using them to look for yourself. Yeah, yeah. So I find the great value of all these things was to fail. It's beautiful. It really is. So when you want to start, Michael?
Sure.
I'm going to go back to some reading first before we start. If anyone has a question or something or is new, let us know in a minute or two. I just want to read some Huang Po and other stuff that I used to read, if you don't mind. Yeah. So this is the first one. When people hear the mind teaching, big M mind, yeah, sort of like this teaching, they get excited. They think there is something to be got. They then fervently engage in this or that practice, thinking that they will get something. And unfortunately, they do not see that their own mind and the thing they expect to find are one and the same thing. If you use your mind to try to get something from mind, you will never achieve anything ever. Though you practice like this for billions of years. Yeah. Now, of course, when we hear this as a singularity, we think it's because we're a defective mind or something. Yes. But it has nothing to do with the person's ability or meritocracy or anything like that. It says you can't use the Buddha to seek the Buddha. That's as simple as that. Yeah. Yeah. It's not like you're the unlucky one out of millions. And no, it's just, it's a conundrum. Yeah. If you try to figure it out, it tightens up. It's like the Chinese thumb torture things. If you try to move, it looks like you can't get out. So you're obviously what your natural reaction would be, try to get out. So when you wiggle, it tightens even more. Yeah. Yeah. And then it's too late. Once you wiggle, you can't, now that you stop, it doesn't work. Yeah. When it was just on and you saw it, there was escape. But as soon as you wiggle, that escape is removed, so to speak. Yes. Yeah. So here's another one I like. Here it is, right? Just this right in front of you. Start thinking about it and you've just missed it. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Just give up your notions of unenlightened and enlightened. Then you will recognize that which is here to begin with. It's that which is here to begin with. It's your crazy thinking. That is your biggest impediment. You hold on to all kinds of distorted ideas and compare one thing with another without end. Your thoughts furiously chase after all kinds of things, just like mad hornets stirred from their nests. There is no such thing as illusion. Illusion is itself illusory. Very nice little move. It's only there because you have invented it. I say you didn't invent it. I would say the head has invented it. Yeah. And I have a strong feeling that's what they would mean. But when it was translated, it was put into this way. But I have a strong feeling what they mean was their head. Yeah. It's only there because your head has invented it, not you, your head. Yeah. If you would simply give up your dividing this from that, you would see that what seems to be divided is not. Yeah. Yeah. So again, in another way, in a weird way, something that we talk about, when we describe policeman and thief, it sounds like two different things, but they're two different aspects of the same thing. Yeah. They're a narration, and the narration usually has a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and it switches back and forth with an extreme picture of policeman thief. Yeah. Now there could be periods of years where the thief was dominant, and there can be periods of years where the policeman is dominant. Yeah. But basically they're of the same cloth. Yeah. So my feeling was the policeman was way too much up the ass of self. So I wanted to get out, and by being bad, I seemed to get out of the policeman's realm. And so then I had to abide in the thief's realm. But the thief's realm became unbearable because of the consequences based on what I did. Yeah. So, but I didn't want to have to go back into the policeman realm. And when I did, it was waiting for me and critiqued all of my thief years and sentenced me to a lot of fucking long-term fucking suffrage, so to speak. Now, in my humble ignorance, I only saw there was only one out of the two ways. Either I was listening to the policeman or I was listening to the thief, but you can listen to neither, yeah, and still be hearing something. Yeah, yeah. You can listen to neither and still be hearing something that will direct you, just as not as the policeman thief does. The policeman thief, it has a different feeling when you start picking up messages from that neutral place. It has a whole different feeling, and it's almost as if the radio is sentient. It can recognize a frequency of the narration, so to speak. Yes? Yeah. Yeah. And it brings about a healthy radio. Well, in your absolute view means nothing, but in this experiential event, it means a lot. Yeah. Yeah. That's why a lot of people first have to get sort of cleared up in certain conditions so that they're able to hear the message. Yeah. And it was weird. It may be coincidental or just the way it went, but I first got struck sober and got stabilized in sobriety. There was me, the action figure, and then the non-duality was heard. Yeah. Yeah. I don't think I would have had the ears to hear it if my ears were filled with all that activity going on. I just don't. Yeah. But AA brought about a condition that was somewhat stable, and a lot of the planes that refused to land when it was all chaotic and crazy started to land. Yeah. And more relief was on its way. And actually the last answer was on its way. And I could greet the last answer of the message of non-duality. Yeah. So I'm going to read one more because I like this guy. That was from another guy, but here's because it is so close, you don't notice it. When you open your eyes, you see with it. Yeah. This is the what's looking is what you're looking for, right? So when your eyes are open, that's what's seeing. You're looking for what's looking right now. Yeah. Now, if you're looking for a what's looking, then the looking for is over, right? If there was a clarity that you were looking for what's looking, and what's looking is what's looking, it would be over before it ever began. Yeah. If someone's finally hit your shoulder while you was looking for what's looking and said, hey, you are looking for what's looking, you what? It would have been over. So because it is so close, you don't notice it. Yes. like the fish in the water, yeah? When you open your eyes, you see with it. However, if you imagine you can find it by thinking about it, you just missed it by 1,000 miles. And nothing has moved. It just appears that you missed it. Yeah. So it appears to what's looking that it's missed it by 1,000 miles. Yeah. And for some reason, because of the conditions that are afoot, it appears to be true. That can be easily remedied, eh? You don't have to go to the high court to get it questioned. You're right here. Yeah. Yeah. Find it by thinking about it. You just missed it by 10,000 miles. All right, here's the last one. Yeah. Knowledge is limited, but knowing is not. Very nice, eh? Knowledge is limited, but knowing is not. To try to understand the unlimited through the limit is craziness. Yeah, obviously. But to do this and to consider it to be a real understanding, now that's just stupidity. It's beautiful, isn't it? Really, it's beautiful. So what's looking is what you're looking for. It is so close to you, you don't see it. When your eyes open, you see with it. Yes. It's like the same thing. If you connect it to another link of Hoang Po, whatever can be perceived, which would be the eye, yes? The eye can be perceived. You can see it. You call it blue or gray or green or whatever. Yeah, the pupil you can see. So whatever can be perceived cannot be perceiving. So the eye in this take is not what's seeing. Yeah. So the eye facilitates vision, but it is not the source of vision. It's sort of like the light, the camera takes pictures, but it's through light. Yes, that it can do that. Yeah. So it sounds like nitpicking, but it is very, very clear and succinct. And once you get the flavor of non-duality, the days of reading a long thesis or an incredible 30-page commentary can be over. It's just very succinct, and it's like getting us like a body punch. Yeah, it gets your attention like that. Yeah? And then what? Yeah, well, find out. And I humbly believe if these few breadcrumbs we crudely have thrown, yeah, you're going to notice that you're standing right on where the breadcrumbs end. You are what you're looking for. The breadcrumbs have done their job. You don't need to follow them anymore. Yes. The breadcrumbs can be given to the birds now. Yes. Yeah. So what's looking is what you're looking for. The seeker is the sought, S-O-U-G-H-T, not the sword. The seeker is the sought. I met somebody after years of listening, and he was confused for 8 years about that statement because he thought I said S-W-O-R-D. So he kept going, the seeker is the sword. What the hell is that? You know what I mean? Why can't it be the gun, the AK-15, whatever? No, the seeker is the sought. Yeah. So what happens if that hits? The seeker is the sought. Seeking's gonna take a huge blow. I'm telling you, obviously, because what fuels the seeking is an ignorance in a way. It's not ignorance like stupidity. There's an ignoring of something. Yeah. There's an ignoring. Maybe a mental activity has an agenda about producing that ignoring, but there's an ignoring of what we call in recovery an unsuspected inner resource. Yeah. So we're ignoring that. And in that ignoring it, we're now looking for it. So we're ignoring what we are. And no one, if you ask them when you met them, are you ignoring what you are? They would, what? No fucking way. Yeah. But they're totally attending to what they're not. Yeah. So while they're attending to their what you're not, the dualistic movement is an ignoring of what you are, to the point we're using what you are through the auspices of what we're not to look for what we are, as if it's a future goal or a topic or something we, staying completely intact, just like we are going to get super great. Yeah. The ignorance fuels all this. Yeah. So if something questions that which is being attended to and you lose interest in it, yeah, that would be ignoring it. When you start ignoring it, shit that wasn't able to be seen is now obviously recognizable. Yes, it's just that simple. You don't have to polish the mirror. You just got to get your big head out of the way. Yeah, you don't need to polish the mirror. Reflection is clear. Yeah. So I hope this infers the same message we try to infer any way we possibly can every week. Yeah. With the hopes that right now you're not trying to find it as like the silver bullet that killed the werewolf, but or a rocket ship that transcend quicker, but that it's become totally disarming, and you're in a certain accepting terms with what's going on right now. You're not seeing every moment as a way to leap to a next and bigger, greater moment. Maybe you're just resting in the moment, attending to what's going on, available to what's happening. Yes. Sensing a presence all the while. Yeah. There you are. That's, I feel, that's being awake. Being awake is you're not ignoring that you're always here, present and available. Yeah. When your head says you're not participating, you're completely participating in that head saying that. Yes. When the head says you have no faith, there's faith in that. Yeah. So there's undeniable effects or conditions that we are that don't need to be made. Or the only thing is, when you start ignoring your act of being the obstacle, it'll become clearer. That's all. Or losing interest in that act of being the obstacle. Yeah. The seeker is what's causing the obscuring of the sought. Yeah. If you could see you're not the seeker, you would find out you're the sought. Yeah. But the seeker is never going to find out the sought. But you will find out you are the sought when you see you're not the seeker. That's the way of negation. Exactly as I said it. That's just reprinted over and over and over and over and over again. The seeker is seen as not you. And then what happens is you are the sought. You've always been the sought, and you always will be the sought. And there's no seeking it anymore. It's that simple. It's end. The ignorance has ended. Yeah. And now you're not using what you are to look for what you think you are as a future, more greater, authentic, or real self, or super self. Yeah. It's not that you're not going to take a vow, I'm never going to seek again. A seeker will always try to take that vow. It doesn't work. Just like a drinker tries to take the vow, I'm never going to drink again, and they drink again. Yeah. Yeah. The simple message can be repeated tons of times because it's new. Yeah. It may be a muffin still, but the muffin's fresh every day. Yeah. So you may say, well, it's a blueberry muffin, but man, a fresh blueberry muffin's great. Yeah. You can say, well, I've had blueberry muffins, but have you had this blueberry muffin? It's pretty tasty. Yeah. And you can have as much as you like. Yeah, pretty good. Come back tomorrow, there'll be another blueberry muffin. Yeah. Yep. So thanks, Mike. And you want to open up the floodgates?
Yeah. John has his hand up. Hey, John.
Howdy. Hey, Mike. Hey, Paul. How's it going?
Good.
Good. I just had a brief share. It's been a couple of weeks since I've been around just because of my crazy schedule, but I've been listening and I had this experience recently where I was at a party and talking to some guys, like husbands. So my wife has friends, so I'm talking to her husbands, first time meeting some of these guys and talking about spiritual stuff. And, it's kind of, I'm very quiet while I'm listening because it's a lot of recounting peak experiences and spiritual autobiographies and stuff like that. And I'm listening and I'm listening and I'm listening. And I'm realizing as I'm listening that like it's going to be my turn at some point. And I can think of all the, fucking peak, again, the peak experiences and books I've read and meditations I did and stuff. And I was just struck by how fucking irrelevant it was. And it was beautiful. I was so glad. I was really, really glad. I was like, I can't tell you how often during my life I've gone to parties and felt like inadequate in some sense because I didn't have the job that I wish I could tell people about or whatever it was. And I felt fake. And now I was like, it's because I am. I was like, it's all been just fucking stories. And now I just see it. And it was awesome. I was like, I don't know what the fuck I'm going to say. And I was so happy because it's just a lot of hot air. But yeah, no, I mean, obviously I came up with something. I think I tried actually giving him some version of the Seeker of the is the Sought, and it went over like a tube top in church. It wasn't a big hit with the crowd. But yeah, no, I just wanted to share, and I honestly just thank you again, because I mean, every once in a while I still get this like urge to like, oh, maybe if I meditated a little bit or something, but then I try and I'm like, no, I already feel good. Like, and when I don't feel good, I'm like, it'll pass. So yeah, it's just really awesome. I mean, honestly, even my wife like my wife was like, you know what, you should go to satsang. I was going to fall asleep. She was like, go to satsang. She said, it makes you a better human being. So just so you know, my wife approves. So thank you.
There you go.
Yeah, man.
That's a high level approval.
It is. Yeah, it really is.
Yes, very nice. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, keep coming.
You got it.
These are all the signs in my case, of the loss of interest in the bling, so to speak, the spiritual bling. And then you know what? Maybe a year or two from now, you'll be at another party and you'll relish and get into it completely and tell about peak experiences you had because you didn't have them. So it's, yeah, you go through a thing where it seems right to pull away from it, and then you can re-engage and take it, but not take it seriously. Really, yeah. I can outmatch your epiphany. Mine was 7 days at a waterfall in Bali. And I had 2 witnesses. So again, man, yeah, that should have done it. Eh? No.
Sure, yeah. Well, God spoke to me, and look, seriously, he was right there. I felt it,
Yeah,
like stuff like that. Yeah, I'm not going to recount the details because it doesn't matter. But I remember
God,
having this.
God spoke to me has been getting used a lot in
I
in strange ways. I'm a little suspicious when someone says God speaking to them.
Well, eventually
It
I
may be
became.
that which is playing God. That which is playing God is speaking to them. That's
Yeah, no, I became suspicious too. But I remember I had this crazy experience, and I told my one friend about it, and he was like, "It's just an experience, man." And it just pissed me off so much when he said it. But then years later, I was like, "Oh, damn, he was right."
Yes, yeah. Experiences. I'm not, we're not talking about the particularities of it, but an experience is defined. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And you can't collect them. They're not like stamps. You open the book, they've disappeared. Yes. It's difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's see, we run into the nature of things a lot. It's nice if you have an understanding that sort of when you'll see the nature of things, you'll be able to capture it as an understanding by the understanding of non-duality, or let's say Buddhism 101,
yeah.
everything is temporary. That's why it's not satisfying. It's not because it's not, she's not 5'11" and 110 pounds. It's because something that comes and gone isn't long lastingly satisfying. So you get these things, and it makes it's sort of like the action figure doesn't run into as many walls as it used to. Yes. And so it travels a little better.
Yeah. I feel like it lets those things be satisfying for just the time they are.
Well, yeah, they do. And because of exactly, beautiful. Yes. Let's move on from there. That was nice. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you, John. And take good care of the bugs. Yeah.
I'll do my very best. You got it.
When I was a kid, in the dreaming, when I got upset, the only way my mother could calm me down was having the kids get what are those bugs? The ladybugs. The ladybugs with the dots on the back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That would soothe my emotional upset. Yeah. So she'd always have, and that's followed me my whole life.
Yeah.
I always pause when a ladybug comes around. It's pretty cool. I think they're pretty cool. Yeah. So
they are pretty cool.
yeah, and they do a lot for the garden. Yes. Yeah.
They eat all the aphids. Yes, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So very cool. All right. Thanks, John. Thank you
No
for
I
problem.
got to
Thank
weigh in
you.
on that too, because of course, ladybugs are awesome. But out here, I'm having my first experience with lightning bugs. And to continue our no mow May theme, yeah, I've learned that was a really good move, because the stalks of like drying grasses, the lightning bugs like to land on those, and they bring them out of the forest, and I get to see a lot of lightning bugs that way.
Oh, yeah, very good. Yeah, I grew up back east. That was always yeah. I mean, you were accustomed to magic when you were a kid, right? If you were not in a violent, like war-torn or emotionally bad situation. If you were a somewhat suitable environment and the kidness was let out, it's quite magical a lot. Those things were incredible, the lightning bugs. Yeah, it's a mind-boggling, really, isn't it? What always killed me, the cicadas are incredible. They come out every 12 years, fucking blows my mind. What are they doing for the 12 years? They just they just appear, cicada around, and then they just leave their exoskeletons on all over trees. I think that's what they just leave their body completely. It's a trip, eh? Yeah. Yeah. So it's nice to be here present. You see a lot that used to go unaddressed. Yeah. Yeah, a lot. So, all right. Anyone else, Mike?
I don't see any other hands. None waving.
Drowning, not waving. Well, we can always end early too. Remember when we used to have live satsangs, Mike?
Of
They were
course.
getting to the point where they were like 20 minutes or something, right? Remember?
Sometimes.
Yeah. It would just shrink down. Everyone had enough, and then we just go. Huh? Let's go eat and stuff. Yeah.
Wait. Wait, now you've got two hands. Got Dana and then Lynn.
Oh, there you go. I knew if I put out a threat, something would happen. Yeah. All right. Let's
Hi.
Dana, Lynn, whoever. Wanted Dana?
Yeah,
All right.
that's, I wanted to let you know that really very cool thing happened to me that I didn't appreciate till now, but I was in the light for 3 weeks and didn't know it. I mean, I was not stressed. I mean, everything had been taken away from me. My car and everything was gone. And I just went with it. And I never was angry. I never was, but it was like, now I know what it is to walk in the light, and I want to walk in the light for real. That's all I was going to say. Just that I experienced that and I liked it.
Well, yeah, that's usually, there used to be an old thing, science of mind, and it used to say what the mind can conceive can be achieved. Yes. So you've now you have conceived of the possibility of traveling in the light, probably become more, you'll be noticing it more frequently. Yes. Yeah. You're it, Dana. Yeah. You are what you've been looking for. Not as the appearance of Dana, but as that which is appearing as Dana. Yes.
Right.
That space. Yeah. So you get these free samples.
Yeah.
You start remembering the address of the bakery. You do. Yeah. It's as simple as that. Doesn't take long to stay at home. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Good. I'm happy it's working for you, Dana. And
Yeah.
we'll just keep on coming as long as you're coming here. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll be there.
Yeah. The bakery is open 24/7. Yep. We never run out of blueberries. Never. All right. Anyone else? Oh, we got Lynn. Lynn D.
Hey,
Lynn
nice to
and
see
then
you.
Paula D. Nice to see you, honey.
Yes, your threat works every time. The threat
Yeah,
to leave, I
I
mean.
got it down. I got it down. Yes.
So earlier you said policeman and the thief, this is in reference to.
Yeah.
You said when you were the policeman, you felt like you were too much up the ass of self. And then you chose the thief because it was more fun. And then it got to be too painful. Aren't they both up the ass of self? I mean,
Well, in their way, but there was more lubricant when the thief was up there than the policeman in this case. In my case also, there was a distinct difference between me and the policeman and me and the thief in my head. In actuality, self, yes, was unbeknownst living as me, and self was being bothered by aspects of self called policeman thief as narratives. Yes. So once again, I was trying to get out of self as self and without knowing it. I was ignorant of the fact that
I
there,
see.
yes, there was an identification as the starting point of me as a long-lasting, independent, separate entity who did shit, thought shit, and they were all mine. That was just a given. And then things bothered that given, which were other aspects of the same cloth, yeah, the same fabric, yes, but I saw them as different. And therefore, I didn't realize that the self was the battery for the thief narrative, and the self was the battery for the policeman narrative, yes?
I see.
And for me to get relief from the thief led me to usually having to be policed by the policeman and vice versa. But there's a point of neutrality where you see you're neither this nor that. Yes, it wasn't the policeman hearing the policeman, it was the hearer of the policeman. That's where the bondage was. The policeman and the thief are just like stock versions of a narrative. Yeah. Most people don't have the platinum action figure, so they get two narratives, policeman, thief. But the bonding isn't, those are used, but the real binding is the idea that you're the hero of it. Yes. See, this is it's the noun is where the problem is found. Yes. It's not in the policing and the thieving and those narratives. It's in the hearer of them. When you believe you're the hearer of them, yeah, and not the act of hearing, this is what changes the meaning of policeman and thief. The policeman and thief do not change their meanings. We change the meaning, yes,
I see.
from the idea of self. Yeah. So
And
it's
you're
almost like
saying
identity, hmm?
big self or big S or little s
No,
from
the
the
little
idea.
s, all the little s, the little s. Yeah. So the feeling when you're hearing something, what gives that something power is that you're the hearer of it, not the hearing. It's the hearer. Yeah. The hearer is the bondage of self. Hearing is an activity. Seeing is an activity. Selfing is an activity. You're not hearing, you're not seeing, you're not selfing. This is where the bondage is when you feel like you're the doing of all this stuff. Yes. That's why people want to be ignorant, because in a way, ignorance is bliss. If they see something, they're going to feel like they're the doer of it, so they rather not see it. Yes.
Well,
They
and
rather,
then
they
the
rather
other,
be ignorant of it as this self. Yeah. But when you see you're not that, then all the stuff that was being hidden or obscured, you see pretty raw. You see the emperor with no clothes. Yes. Yes. It's not the emperor putting the clothes on. It's the idea of self is the tailor of the emperor. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. So
so
losing.
you all, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that's it. Yeah.
You also said something else that bothered me.
That bothers you. Okay.
Well, just when I hear, and maybe it's because of my age, that you can be policeman or thief for years, before switching or going back and forth.
No, Lynn,
That can
let me
stop right
just
away.
clear up one thing, Lynn. You're not the policeman and thief ever. You're listening to the policeman and thief. Yeah. In other words, there's something else up there that you're listening to, and it's actually you, but they take on a uniform. One has the thief uniform, one has the police uniform. Yeah. There is no thief or policeman.
They both have to strip naked and be the emperor with no clothes.
Only once, maybe, or as many times as
Once.
you need. Yes. Then
Yeah.
you'll see them through the uniform. You'll see that they're naked while they're wearing the uniform. Yeah. And you'll see a sergeant just as clearly as a lieutenant or a colonel. Yeah. Yes.
Okay,
You'll see
and then,
they-
and the other thing I wanted to address was the comment about it being years of that. That doesn't have to be years, right? That
course not.
that could change immediately.
Of course it can, but I think that was from the readings. They were just trying to emphasize something, that the futility of looking for what you are with what you are is going to go on for years and nothing's going to happen. Yeah.
No, you said
Oh, I
during
said,
the policeman and thief
oh,
comment that it can go on for years, and so I just wanted to point that out, because I know it doesn't have to go on for years, and what's more, I don't have years.
yeah. Well, then you're
I've
in one way, you're
I've
quite
already
lucky.
done that, been there, done that.
Now you're quite lucky, because now the policeman can't stretch out as much. Yes. His beat will be very limited somewhat. Yeah. Yeah. No, the narrative, there isn't a policeman or a thief. It's used to make, because the way to communicate is through imagery. Yeah. So you're making an image of narratives. You can't tell, distinctly a lot of the times what's what, but they break into two basic archetypes, let's say. And in this archetype, we have the thief and the policeman. Yeah. In my case, the policeman showed up first. Then the thief was the remedy to all the tightness and up the assness of the policeman. The thief presented its own consequences. Yeah. That led me to have to leave the thiefdom, and then the policeman took over the beat again. Yeah.
How
And
long did
I
that? How long did
believe-
that go on? Back
Well,
and
I would
forth.
say it was years. Yes, years. Yeah. That's why I use the terminology years. But the thing is, those were imageries that were being projected by this idea of being the long-lasting, independent, separate entity. These are like
Okay.
ghosts that are imagined when you're imagining things as a self. Yes. Yes. Usually you'll get a duality, which is, all right, there was just like when you're ignorant of something, or let's say, when you're ignoring something, it's usually expressed as being obsessed with something else. You don't see the opposite effect, which is, like it says in the Course, full in faith in this something else that your head has made to be yourself. You're in the active denial of what you are. You see the dualisticness of it?
Mm-hmm.
So most people don't believe they're in the active denial of what they are. But if you share with them what it looks like or feels like to be firm in faith in this obsessive idea of self, they can register that. Yeah. And then the message is, what that happens in duality is that firm in faith is its other movement is a denial of what you are. Yes. So being in firm in faith and being this something else that you're not, it just doesn't stand alone. It has a contrary effect, which is the denial of what you are. Yeah. This is what non-duality is negating. It's negating both. Yeah. A lot of people get to denying of what they are by feeling someone sharing about, man, I was completely up the ass of self. I mean, I believed every fucking thought that was being presented. Yes. And so, and then people go, wow, I've felt like that. That hits home. And then you go, well, the message of that is that's the act of denial of what you're not. What? Yes. Yeah. So when you lose interest in self, that's why this is how it works. When you lose interest in that something else that the head is making to be you, yes, you are now, that act of denial isn't being projected. And it becomes quite easy to recognize what you're not and rest in what you are. Yes?
I don't
Yes.
know. I feel like it's all going on at the same time.
It's all going on at the same time, exactly, but you can see something. It has in time, it doesn't go on all at the same time. Its effects are staggered, yes? So one thing occurs and there's another effect. In all time and no time, it's always going on at the same time, but in time, there's cause and effect in the illusory, in the appearance, the dreaming.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I don't
This is happening. Wait a
live
minute.
in neutral
Wait a
place.
minute, honey. This is happening, and that happening is denying something else. That's taking time. Yes?
I agree.
Yes.
I understand that.
So this is what's going on. Yes, we go absolute, but our experiential event is in absoluteness. We're
Right.
experiencing things in sequence. Yes? This is what happens. The conceptual idea of absoluteness, when attempted to be applied to a temporal situation, doesn't fucking work usually. Just break down the temporal situation and you'll have a sense of the timelessness.
Well, that just happens naturally sometimes.
Yes. Well,
So
maybe
I guess
naturally happening sometimes isn't enough, so you can artificially trigger it with an invitation and a message.
how do I do that?
You don't have to do it. It's happening here.
I got you. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, yeah. You cannot talk about what we are. Yeah, we can't. We can talk about what we're not. It has a role here because there seems to be there's something else that the head has made to be ourselves, seems to have a lot of sway, a lot of influence. So this is why non-duality arose, yes? Because all the paths weren't working, because they were running into that which is the clarity is obscuring the fact, yes? They were running into it. It's the light itself that's blinding itself. Yeah.
Come on in.
So now it had to be non-duality because there was a dualistic movement that was
You have an arm.
unclarifying activity. So they had a negation of that. Yeah. So that people who are ready to hear it, because they have a knowing of it, they just couldn't piece it together. They'd have a way for that knowing to be expressed clearly, which is non-duality. It negates the duality of the light looking for itself as the light taking itself to be something else. Yes. So there's a negation. Yeah. Nothing has to change, and yet everything changes because things are only seem to be appearing in certain ways based on how we're looking at it. Yeah. Bammo. So let's talk about that and see that it's not you. You are not that which is looking for it. And then somehow that way of looking is going to change. Yes. Yes.
And I am not that which is frustrated by all of it. Right?
No, frustration is just another, it's just frustration is another expression of agitation in a way. Agitation is the nature of the head. It's agitated. Yeah. Things, when it meets a Rubik cube, it can't fucking figure it out. It gets frustrated and it gets agitated. And so it wants to know at the cost of knowing, as we read. Yeah. It wants knowledge at the cost of knowing. And it's the knowledge is going to take the place of the knowing. And as it was beautifully said, yeah, there's a limit to knowledge, but there's no limit in knowing. Yes. Yeah. So the knowledge of self, this idea of you as a doer and thinker and feeler, leads to a knowing of self as what you're not. Yes. The knowing of self as what you're not is where the feeling and the sense is, not the knowledge of it, the knowing of it. Hopefully the knowledge will lead to the knowing. Yes? Yeah. Yes, and it's always happening at all times. And yet, when I remember the first time I met some people from the course, and they asked me, because I was leading some workshops in recovery in San Francisco. One of the people had met me in India, and they got in touch with me, and they wanted me to set up a non-duality event. Yeah. And they were going to come from their place in Wisconsin and do a talk. These two people, I knew one of them. And I said, yeah, I'll help set it up. Okay. The first is Friday night, Saturday, Sunday. Friday night, the people show up, a lot of people. A lot of them used to come from these workshops we did in AA. And the people started with, there is no world. Now that's true, yes? On an absolute sense. There is no world. They lost every fucking person there. Every person basically lost. Yes? I sat there. I watched what happened. Yeah. At the absolute didn't work. Yeah. It was better, much better, let's say a Jesus Christ move, which is you're in this world, but you're not of this world. Yeah. Instead of starting with there is no world, which is the absolute fact. Yes. But not one person, basically, some of them I never saw again, tell you the truth. Really. It was amazing. But I learned a lot that day. And I learned that's not the way to present stuff.
No,
Yeah.
you have to start where people are.
Well, there you go. Exactly. Yes. And
But
to say something, to say there is no world and to have knowing there is no world are quite different. Yes. I would think it's much more wiser not to say there is no world so that people find out maybe to them there is no world. Yes.
yeah,
Much. Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, yes. So let's talk about what can be talked about and let what can be found out be the mystery and the joy of it. Yes. So that's sort of how it happens here. Yeah.
I got it. Thank you.
Yes. You're welcome. Yes. I would rather just be sitting still. Yes. Just
Yeah, okay.
staring out and whatever appears, but that doesn't seem to work. Yeah. I think Ramana Maharshi ran into that. He was sitting quietly for 9 years. He thought that should do it. Just transmit to everyone. He came after 9 years. He realized that ain't working, and then he started talking about who am I? Yeah. Well, from whence do we come?
People started asking, I heard people started asking him for practices.
Yeah.
And that was the only thing he would give them, I think.
Yes. Yeah. Well, he threw a bone.
You're right.
Yeah. So, yeah, but not for the sake of the bone. That's the point. Yes. Yeah. Being reality, there's like beautiful kindergarten-like ways of bringing reality to that reality. Yes. Yes. Just by showing pictures of what it's not. I think that's pretty good. Yeah. All right. Nice to see you, Lindy.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Ready
You have
for
plenty of time. You may not have plenty of years, Lindy, but you're full of time, the timelessness of it. Yes, there you go. Yeah. Yeah. Don't you, well, whatever. All right.
I got it. Thank you.
Yeah. Cassandra.
It's Don
Yeah.
first.
Oh, Don first.
Real quick, I won't push your buttons. I in high school in the 80s, I was in a class called Zig Ziglar, See You at the Top. And I don't know if you're
Zig Ziglar, the what?
Zig Ziglar.
The what?
He and his book was See You at the Top. And this reminds me, I mean, your projections that I see in your talk reminds me so much of Zig Ziglar, you know, where I can read off a couple of things, honesty and integrity are absolutely essential for success in life in all areas. The really good news is that anyone can develop both honesty and integrity. And then he wrote, your attitude, not your aptitude, will determine your altitude. And then with integrity, you have nothing to fear since you have nothing to hide. With integrity, you will do the right thing, so you will have no guilt. And I just am grateful to meet you, and that's all I wanted to say.
Oh, thank you, Dawn. I'm grateful to barely see you in the light. I can see a little candle there, but thank you. Cassandra.
Yes, thank you. Because I'm relatively new to the platform here, would you talk just a little bit about your use of the phrase action figure? And I'm picking up bits and pieces from the talks, and it seems like it has to do with being in the world, but not of the world. But I just kind of like a action figure 1.0 for the new person in the group, if you would.
All right, well, just to sort of drain out a little personalness out of it, being a human being, I used a colloquialism of growing up in America, where you get Batman and you could get other action figures with them, and Joker or something. And then I like the terminology to describe the body and the activeness of the body when existence is moving through it. Yes. So I use that term action figure, and I think it's suitable. Yeah. So an action figure would be doing shit. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's really helpful to me. I mean, I've been thinking about it, and it makes separation for me, or it creates separation when I can hear the self thing. To me, is kind of talking to itself a lot. Like there's a conversation going on, and then I'm having little awarenesses of I'm not that. But the action figure, as I'm working with that, is driving the car, or fixing breakfast, or taking the dog out, or whatever. So I'm just kind of seeing as the action. I'm just doing these things in the world at the same time that I'm not of it.
Yeah, because it's an action figure. It's not you. It's an action figure. That's the conditioning and the programming. Yes. It has a certain sentience, and it reacts to stuff. And then there's a narration of the reactions, or the lack of reaction, or the wrong reaction. Yes, on and on. But I like the action figure because it makes it unspectacular and not special. Yes.
Yeah, it's really helpful. And last
Same
night
thing with seat assignment. I like the term seat assignment.
right.
So
Yes.
you find wherever you are is your assignment right now as the action figure.
Yeah, it's a really helpful thing. I just wanted to make sure I was kind of understanding it in the way you meant it. So thank you for that.
That's how I mean it today. Again, you're just grabbing imagery to present something. That's all. Yeah, because the imagery triggers a whole lot more of acknowledgement than I feel a lot of sentences of stuff. Yes. So it's just you're sitting here and there's an event going on, and it's sort of, let's say, like a crazy person enters your house and you're in the kitchen, and the crazy person's coming. So you're looking what would be suitable, like a knife or a ladle or something. So you're just looking around in the lexicon up there, and then it just something comes out for the first time. So these things sprung out, and then some of them got the A-OK from head office to be used over and over again. Action figure is one of them. Yes. I remember the parasite, the time I said it for the first time. I was driving to a noon AA meeting in Petaluma, California, and I was being moved by whatever you want to call the spirit, and to attempt to get something across about the possessiveness or the feeling of a demonic or an intelligent thing taking you over, I spurted out the word parasite. Yes. And I saw that it triggered recognition in people, and that was kept around for a while. Yeah. So it's just, you're just looking around for what can be used, and then you just put it out there. Some of the shits work, so you keep, now they're in your first drawer, so to speak. So action figure, I think, captures the whole thing. Seat assignment. Yeah. Yeah. So.
Well, thank you.
It's
Those are
just-
really helpful.
Yeah, so it's the fulfilling of a seat assignment. I find myself in a seat assignment, and it looks around to get things across. Yeah. So because
No te oigo, estoy en una reunión.
it's beautiful, because it's sort of like John Coltrane's A Love Supreme. Yeah. It's just, you're just trying to find notes to go back to the same theme over and over again. Yeah. 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 All right. Anyone else, Mike?
No other hands. Except for Rick, he clapped for you.
Oh, thank you. I heard that, Rick. I heard it. I heard the clap. It's not like the tree in the forest. I heard it. It happened. Well, I'm happy to be here. Yeah, it's fun because I love when one of the things I like about Zoom is the triggering of more explanation of things. Yeah. Because once you get out of the comprehensive jungle of the garden, you can get down to some of the roots. It's fun. Yeah. Yeah. So there is no thief or policeman. It's an aspect of selfing. And the real importance isn't the policeman or thief, it's the hero of it. Yes. That's what gives life to the policeman and the thief. And because of the idea of self-centeredness as duality, this event of duality could only see, it could have been only one or the other. I couldn't see that there was a third door, like Monty, let's make a deal, Monty Hall, I only saw there was two doors. So like when I was confronted with spirituality and the policeman and trying to be perfect, and I found myself involved with a group that the head of the group was called by all the group the Lord of the Universe. And to me, the Lord of the Universe had a lot of meaning. Yeah. And when I had feelings I wanted to leave the Lord of the Universe, that seemed like no bueno in the head. Who the hell would ever leave the Lord of the Universe? And the only way I could get relief from that was getting loaded. Yeah, that would get me permission to leave the group. And so that's how I could, and this comes from Ramana Maharshi's using the policeman and thief with, you thinking this aspect of your head is the thief that's taking away your life. And then you send another aspect of the head to arrest that, but they're the same thing. They're just two sides of the same coin. Yeah. This is, so we've just taken that idea, keep it there, and then riff on it as a narrative, because a lot of people I know in recovery, they've had that policeman thief. And yeah, so there you go.
And now you got David.
Now I'm going to try to explain why I don't like putting cranberries in my granola. I like it to have blueberries and blackberries. Yes. So who?
David, down under.
David. All right.
Hi. G'day, everyone. G'day, Paul.
Oh, David from down under. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good, thanks, Paul. Hey, just a quick question. How old was the Lord of the Universe?
Eh?
How old was the Lord of the Universe? Like that guy.
Oh, there was, yes.
Yeah, but how old was he?
Oh, he was 11 when I met him.
Yeah, cool. Cool. Yeah. Oh, just was
I was early with the Lord of the Universe.
he got in early. He got in early too.
Oh, he got in really early. Well, his family had a guru business in India. I had no idea about that.
Righto.
Franchise. And his father, instead of passing it on to the oldest son, did a whippy-do and passed it on to the youngest son, who was only like 10 or 9 at the time.
Oh,
I
so
met him.
there can be more than one Lord of the Universe. It's sort of handed down, like you hand it over.
Well, I had only met one at the time, and it was the first one.
That was
Hope
confusing
the
enough.
first Lord of the Universe would be the last Lord of the Universe for you. I hope you're not in the business of looking for Lords of the Universe. Wow. You're hoping one does it, yeah. The Lord of the Universe. Usually
Yeah,
it's one, the Lord.
The one you knew.
I didn't know there was Lords of the Universe. Oh, Jesus.
Jesus.
I thought it was the Lord of the Universe.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
It was like a fucking huge pizza for the policeman in the head. Oh, I suffered years. I'll tell you, it's a joke now, but I was somewhat serious. I went back, I hadn't been with them for a while, and it was a 7-day festival in Orlando, Florida. And during the day, he would drive around in an open convertible, be driven around. And I was dreaming that I was going to get like a poison, like, one of those things. Oh, and it was going to have, it wouldn't kill him immediately. It would take a while. So then he would be about 100 yards past me and then die. So it would be difficult to find that it was me that did it. And then I'd finally be free and I could just leave the Lord of the Universe. But it was this kind of shit was going through my head. I just couldn't see how I was going to get out. Yeah.
It might have backfired for you if he had a younger brother and on the spot they just like
I know. No, he was the youngest one. So it was so much value in it. But again, I had no idea about spirituality, but I had millions of thoughts about it. As soon as I met it, I had so many ideas how I should be, how they should be. I mean, it was incredible. I never read anything about it. It just showed me a whole lot that what I believed was going on is not going on. Yeah. If I'm more like one of these keypads of a computer, if you hit a certain like A and a topic of A comes up, thousands of ideas about that topic of A come in. Yeah. And every one of them I was assuming were mine, my thoughts, my feelings. It was unbelievable. Yeah.
I was brought up like had to go to church all the time. Like my mum's side of the family were very religious, like what were we again? Church of England. I forget what we are. It's just I've slipped my mind. But all it did for me for years and still does sometimes now, is just a big guilt trip, Like that's the policeman, you know. But it doesn't. Since I met you guys, that's nearly gone away. You know, it just doesn't
Great.
happen like that anymore.
Yeah, that kind of stuff, you know, in Catholicism, you're already that you're doomed. You have mortal sin. You can't
Yeah.
remember what you did, but you're born with it.
Yeah.
So, and you
And it
can't
was-
erase a mortal sin. So
And it was-
basically, you're
it
behind
was
the
like-
evil the rest of your life.
It was like the more I learned, the older I got. I realized that I'd just about done every sin. There's no way I was getting anywhere. You know, I'd broken all the rules.
Yeah, I know.
And I couldn't even make up for it. But anyway, thank you, Paul.
Anything can go on when you don't know what's going on. I'm
Yeah.
serious. If you don't know what's going on, anything can be going on. It's just amazing how much leeway the head has. You really like to fucking shorten its field, yeah, and bring in the goalposts, and then
Yeah, I've
with some
realized
surety, being convinced, yes. Yeah.
I've realized through what you talk about that yeah, as far as the small mind's concerned, you can never you can never get it if it right. Everything's always wrong. Doesn't matter what you sort of do, you know. So it's just because it's just all bullshit. Yeah, I get it. So yeah.
Yes, you know, you see people who try to really be perfect, and then they usually express perversity, you know, they do some weird shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, because there's a compression builds and it's got to blow somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone's dirty and we're all frauds. Hallelujah. Yes. That's
Yeah.
where you don't have to take yourself so seriously. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. This is you know, let's say in your atmosphere, acceptance has been withheld for years. When it finally gets blown in, man, you don't know what it is, and it's probably better you don't give a name to it. But man, acceptance is that's some rich oxygen. Yeah, it's a rich oxygen to breathe. Acceptance, yes. The head is constantly in a state of withholding. Yes, always. Yeah, yeah. It's waiting for something. And it's never here now, what it's waiting for. Yeah, it's just biding time to keep looking for that something it knows is going to come later. So it withholds, you're withheld every moment with the idea that you're going to fully embrace that great moment that shows up. But every there is a here when you get to it.
Yeah. And you need
Every
another there.
mystical there is a here when you arrive. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're in
That's
the habit of being here withholding, that's probably how you're going to greet that mystical, magical event. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly like when you tell your couch story, you know, your couch story, and then you want a rug, you know, as soon as the couch rocks up, you know. The funny thing is, when I first heard you say that, I'm not kidding without a lie, I've still got it upstairs. I'd spent hours on the internet, like, and everything, just around the same time as I first heard you say that story, looking for a couch for my room upstairs here at my factory. Yeah. And this couch finally came, and it looked really big and everything on the photos on eBay, this massive couch. I'll take a picture of it one day and show you guys. It's a tiny little couch. It's about 4.5 feet long. It's flimsy. It's just complete crap. And I was so disappointed as soon as it rocked up. It was like I pissed myself laughing though because my workmate was there. And then just forgot about it straight away, and the search went on for something else. I can't remember what it was at the time. Yeah. But it was exactly the same time as I first heard you telling that couch story. And it was really interesting because I was living it, you know, you were telling the couch story.
Well, yeah. Everything we've said, there's been a living of it all. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the here-there syndrome, yes?
Yeah.
The head is entertaining a better there while here. Yeah. And
And
yet,
it's-
when you arrive at that better there, it's always here. Yeah.
And it's, yeah, I get that.
So you have to make up another there to keep
Yeah.
going. And
That's
then
it.
you arrive, it's here. And then, yes, it just goes on and on and on.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, that's gonna happen. But if it isn't you, it'll be sort of funny, yes? You'll get some,
Yeah, yeah.
you'll get some comedic value out of it. Yeah.
Well, I was going to throw that couch out. Like, this is about a year ago. I've had it for a year now, but I've kept it because every time I'm upstairs having lunch, or not every time, but a lot of the time, I look across at it and I sort of have to do cartwheels in my head, like I piss myself.
Oh,
laughing.
good. No, keep it. It's
Yeah,
a good reminder.
yeah.
Hey,
So-
we're gonna go, I think, now. Hey,
No.
the dinner's ready. Yeah, there's lovely Amelia. There's our friend Noor. I don't know what he's doing over there. He's doing something. Trying to get into my safe, I think. Yeah, there he is. Hey, hey, Mike, is that all right? Can we take off, bro? Nice to see you. Yeah. Amelia's got the food ready. Almost. Mike.
10 minutes.
Nice to see you, Mike. I can't hear you. He's not saying anything. Rico
You're muted,
Cruz.
Mike.
Yeah, there he is. Anu, as always. How are you, Anu? Oh, good. Hey, say hello to your husband from all of us, yeah?
I will. Thanks, Paul.
Yeah. Esther has left the building. Great. Good night, Esther. We got, Mr. Rick Rowe from Toronto. Nice to see you, man. Mia from somewhere down south. I have no idea where. Simon from Peterborough. Simon from Peterborough. I've been to Peterborough a lot.
I know.
Yeah.
I wasn't here when you came.
Oh, yes. We used to rent some cabins up there with our, yeah, and have it was quite nice. Have like people from Peterborough come up and we'd have a little like small festival on the weekend. It was great. Yeah, I like Peterborough.
You're welcome
Well,
anytime.
nice. Yeah, that's good. All right, Simon, thank you. Alan Osen, it's getting closer, Alan. There's going to be Sicily coming soon. Yes. Greg
There's-
Mini.
They're asleep.
Oh, they're asleep. Oh, fantastic. Let's leave Greg and Alan alone. John K. Nice to see you. We got Kerry. Nice to see you, Kerry. Yeah. Dana. I'm very happy you show up, Dana. You play a big role in our little situation here.
Well, thank you.
Lisa M. There she is. Nice and comfortable. Lynn D. Thank you again, Lynn, for stirring up the spirit. I like it. All right, Lynn D. Thank you.
Was I
Yes.
was I causing a problem?
No, you weren't. You allowed me to try to say things as clear as I can, which is good.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
That's to me, that's a great share when it brings that out. Yeah. Yeah. So Susanna W, nice to see you. You got your running shoes for Italy there, honey? Yeah, good. All right. David B, we got other people that like to run. Yeah. David Bitterman, nice to see you, bro. Miss Amelia, we got Hazaphone. Cassandra, thank you. Anand Sindhu, nice to see you. Fletch. I don't know who that is. Hey, thank you, everyone. A lot of people have left already. That's good. Hey, I see you guys soon. Tomorrow is recovery Thursday. And everything's on the website. And if you get interested in coming to Sicily, you can still come. It's in October and there's information on the website about it. The more the merrier. And nice to see everyone and take care. Bye-bye.
All right.